Good morning. It's Dispeller, and I'm here to read the chapter 4 of Dealing with People You Can't Stand. Now, why am I doing this early in the morning? Well, because I can, number one. Number two, because I don't work today, so I have some time. Number three, I get really tired at night, and I'm starting myself on a new house cleaning regimen and eating regimen, so I have to be very structured in how I do things. And when I requested for people to email me in the past, it doesn't happen. The polls seem to be tampered with by trolls or other creators that don't like me and don't want me on here. So there's no point in doing a poll to decide what time to do it anymore. As my husband said, just do it when you want to, and they'll watch it when they want to. So there you go. That's why I'm doing it this way. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel if it's of interest to you. Like the channel by hitting the little thumbs up, share it with your friends, and ring the bell. It'll be on the side, I think, over here. Click on that bell, and then you won't miss other future uploads. And if you want to make sure you really get all the uploads, when you click the bell, it'll give you choices. Hit the top choice. All right, that being said, we will have chat time after I'm done reading this chapter. And also, while I'm reading, feel free to say whatever you want to say in the chat within reason. Please, no cussing, no insulting people. Just act mature. That's all I ask for you to do. Just act mature like you would if you went into a meeting place with people you didn't know, because a lot of times there's going to be people in here watching that you don't know. So just be respectful. All right. And away we go. This is called From Conflict to Cooperation. So we got looks like some office people, business people with the boss down below, I'm guessing. All right. It'll make more sense, I guess, as we go. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of difficult people. You already communicate successfully with most people, and you have difficulties with only a few people. Our purpose in the following chapters is to bring into your awareness communication skills that you unconsciously use already to build trust and relationships with people you care about. Once you recognize these skills, you can begin to use them on purpose with problem people to turn conflict into cooperation. 2 essential skills, blending and redirecting. Now we're actually going to learn how to handle skills to deal with people that cause us problems, people that we can't stand in some instances. So what is it about people that makes some so easy to relate to and others so difficult to deal with? How is it possible that you can get along with one and get into conflict with the other? The answer to these questions is that united we stand, but divided we can't stand each other. Conflict occurs when the emphasis in a relationship is on the differences between people. The more divided you seem to be, the sooner you fall. This is interesting because I've always said that the reason I get along with most people, even people that don't believe like I do, is I find things that we have in common and I focus on that. But there are those select few that you just are not going to get along with. Personality clash or what have we, you're just not going to get along with everybody. That's reality. You get along better with people when the emphasis is on the similarities between you. The difference between conflict with a friend and conflict with a difficult person is that with a friend, the conflict is tempered by the common ground you share. Success in communication depends on finding common ground before attempting to redirect the interaction toward a new outcome. Obviously, reducing differences is essential to your success in dealing with people you can't stand. That's where blending and redirecting come in. Blending is any behavior by which you reduce the differences between you and other people in order to meet them where they are and move to common ground. The result of blending is an increase in rapport. Redirecting is any behavior by which you use that rapport to change the trajectory of that interaction. I'm sure this will all make sense as we go on. Hopefully, because I'm confused. I could imagine anybody else might be like, huh? What? The only thing I think of when I think of blending is that actual movie called Blended. And if you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny. You should see it. Okay, blending is an essential communication skill. It's something people do automatically and naturally when they share a common vision, care about each other, or want to deepen a relationship. You may be amazed at how much a part of your life blending already is. For example, have you ever been in a conversation with someone when unexpectedly you found that you both grew up in the same place? In that moment of discovery, differences were reduced and you felt closer. That's the experience of blending. Have you ever gone to a restaurant with friends, looked at the menu, and asked, "What are you having?" Your question may have little to do with what they wanted to eat and a lot to do with sending a signal of friendship. If before the meal they ordered a drink and so you ordered one too, that was another example of blending. So I guess blending is kind of like finding that commonality that you can do to be similar to the other person in some way. When your child comes home from the playground teary eyed from an injury on that little knee, what do you do? If you love your child, if your love for your child is strong, you will either pick up the child so that you're eye to eye, or you'll bend down to the child's level. You may even put your hand over your own knee, crinkle up your face, and in the same tone of voice say, "Does it hurt?" That's blending, and it shows your child that you care. Have you ever been in a conversation with people who have a strong regional accent and you found yourself talking with a little bit of that accent yourself? If so, that was your natural urge to blend with people you like. Yes, I do that actually, and this is not a racist comment, so don't go there. I do that when I see black people that I know. I tend to talk like they do. Like, girl, oh man, girl, I can't believe that happened to you. I'm saying, I do. And so I blend with people. They don't get offended by it. They think it's cool and they go along with it. If you have ever gone somewhere all dressed up only to find everyone else in shorts and t-shirts, then you know the feeling of not blending. You blend with people in many ways. You blend visually with your facial expression, degree of animation, and body posture. I wonder why we have trouble blending on the internet. Could it be we can't see people? Everybody's become avatars? I've been saying that for how long? Here you go. Here's your proof right here why we can't blend. We're not showing our facial expressions. We're not giving people that human side of ourselves. Okay, we don't see body posture because we don't see people's body. You blend verbally with your voice, volume, and speed, and you blend conceptually with your words. But as natural as it is to blend with people that you like or with people that you share an objective with, it is equally natural not to blend with people whom you perceive as difficult. And the failure to blend has serious consequences because without blending, the differences between you become the basis for conflict. Key point: no one cooperates with anyone who seems to be against them. The fact is, in human relations, there is no middle ground. Unconsciously or consciously, people want to know, are you with me or not? You come across as either hot or cold to the relationship, perceived as being on common ground or worlds apart. Believe it or not, that's one of the things you have in common with your difficult people. That makes sense because there's just some people like on here that are blocked and will stay blocked because there is no blending going on and there doesn't need to be any blending going on. But there's other people who I've blocked that I've unblocked for different reasons. Maybe because my husband's like, they're okay, unblock them. Or because I just feel more comfortable with them than I did before. I don't know. So it just all depends on, do you feel like you're blending with that person and can blend or not? And if you want to blend with them or not. Another key point: blending always precedes or comes before redirecting, whether you're listening to understand or speaking to be understood. Only after establishing some rapport with your difficult people through blending will you be able to redirect the interaction and change the trajectory toward a worthwhile outcome. Again, I think as I read this will make more sense. It's not making a lot of sense at the moment. In the following strategies, you will find specific blending and redirecting skills for effective communication with problem people. As you read, try to recall instances when you have successfully used these strategies. and imagine future times when you might use them again. In the second half of the book, we will draw on these skills and strategies to deal effectively with the 10 plus 3 most difficult unwanted behaviors. So basically, in a nutshell, and very simply put, we're going to talk about how this looks. What does it look like? All right, hang on, I'm going to check my phone. Somebody messaged me or something. Oh, it's just telling me to eat breakfast. That can wait. All right. Blending nonverbally with body and facial expressions. Some people talk with their hands, others talk with only their mouths. Some people smile politely with just about everybody. Others scowl at anybody, while still others are inscrutable. Some stand to speak, some sit down to speak, some slouch, some stand straight, and some lean against the furniture. These differences in style can be the sources of misinterpretation, hallucination, and misunderstanding. The people who talk with their hands see the people who talk only with their mouths as real sticks in the mud. The people who talk only with their mouth see the people who talk with their hands as out of control. The people who smile see the people who scowl as hateful, while the people who scowl see the people who smile as phony or goofy. When people get along with each other, they naturally blend by mirroring each other's body posture, facial expressions, and degree of animation. If you're enjoying a conversation with people who are sitting with their legs crossed, after a time you cross your legs in the same manner. If they uncross their legs and lean forward within moments, you respond by doing the same. If they're smiling, you smile back. If they're telling you about something that's upsetting to them, you show your concern. If they're talking with their hands, you respond in kind. It can get to the point where if they scratch their head, you may suddenly get an itch on your head in the same place. In fact, if you could watch a video of yourself with people you communicate well with, and you could put that video on fast forward, you would see what happens to be an unconscious and automatic game of Simon Says. Now, here's the exception to that rule. I know about mirroring. So like if I go on a job interview, I purposely mirror the person that's interviewing me. If they lean forward, I lean slightly forward. If they go like this, I'll lift my hand kind of near my shirt. I do it on purpose. So I do it consciously. But yes, that's true. If you bond with somebody, you connect with them, you do it very subconsciously. You might be surprised. I think, again, that's why internet is so difficult for people. They don't realize it, but there is that lack of being able to unconsciously imitate another person or mirror another person. And if you do mirror somebody, like make a video similar to their video, usually they feel like, hey, why are they copying me? So you see the difference between the internet and actual real life interactions. Okay, for the rest of this day, pay attention to the way people mirror each other's nonverbal behavior. Watch how you blend with others and how others blend with you. Watch two people from a distance and see how they blend nonverbally. If you see a couple having an argument, watch how there is very little blending and exaggeration of differences. Most of the time, nonverbal blending happens automatically and usually goes unnoticed by both parties. Blending, or the lack of it, can create an atmosphere of trust or distrust, cooperation or non-cooperation between you and other people. One way to take charge with difficult people in a poisoned atmosphere is to purposely blend with their body posture, facial expressions, and degree of animation. Blending sends the signal that I'm with you, I'm not the enemy, I'm interested in what you say and do. Again, very difficult to do on the internet. If you have a spat with somebody and you want to do this subconscious or conscious blending, you can't see them. They're an avatar. How are you going to blend with an avatar that's just a blinking outline? You can't. There's no way. So that's why we probably have a lot more enemies and easier to make enemies on the internet, in my opinion. Internet is just, especially with avatars, is so inhuman. You just feel like you're talking to, I don't know, a cartoon character. Now, if it's like the Plotagon thing that I do, that's on purpose. That's just two little characters in, connecting in around some topic or whatever. But when you're talking, like, that's why I don't come on as an avatar. I'm a person. I'm not an avatar. I mean, you see my home and you've seen it many, many times. which hopefully will be looking better as the days go on. But I'm not an avatar. I'm a human, and you deserve to see my body language. If I have a hair out of place, guess what? I'm a human being. Sometimes my hair does what my hair wants to do. Sometimes I have lipstick on, sometimes I don't. Today I decided to put it on. Lately I've been putting it on. So it's just me showing who I am, the caricature of who Laura Dispeller is. Okay. Important. It's not necessary to do much nonverbal blending that other people notice. You don't want them to think that you're mocking them. It is unnecessary to mirror what other people are doing from head to toe. You only want to simulate a behavior that would normally occur if all of you were getting along. In a normal situation, there are time delays before mirroring changes in posture. Sometimes nonverbal blending is similar but different. Ever meet a foot wiggler? You may not start wiggling your foot, but before you know it, you are wiggling your pencil to the same rhythm. That's interesting. I never noticed that. I'll have to pay more attention next time I'm in a one-on-one interaction with somebody, which isn't very likely to happen anytime soon, other than when we're cooking and baking and wrapping things. I can watch them, but it's kind of hard because we're all focused on bagging bread. So we're not likely to be interacting with each other much. One thing you should never blend with is a hostile gesture directed at you. If someone shakes his or her fist at you and yells, "I think you're a jerk," please don't shake your fist back and start yelling, "Well, I think you're a jerk too." That is not blending. We do not recommend meeting aggression with aggression. The key to blending with aggression is to underplay it assertively. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the tanks and grenades. When we examine the 10+3 types of difficult behaviors, you'll discover how useful nonverbal blending can be. Using your body, you can help yes people, maybe people, and nothing people feel comfortable with you. And you'll be able to nonverbally demonstrate to tanks that you can stand up for yourself without having to be aggressive. Now, one thing I've noticed when dealing with tank type people and grenades is they say that when somebody's being loud, you get softer. Sometimes that makes them angrier, especially if they're narcissistic. If you don't match their angry aggression with yours, they get angry more, and then they lash out and, "Why are you not taking this seriously? Why are you just sitting there? Why don't you say something?" They get really irritated. So this is talking about, the normal neurotypical person, everyday people, not necessarily people with major personality disorders. So keep that in mind, that everything in this book is subjective to who and what you are dealing with. All right. Blending vocally with volume and speed. Whenever you successfully communicate with people, you naturally blend with their voice, volume, and speed. If they talk louder, you talk louder. If they talk faster, then you speed up. Faster talking people enjoy the race. Slower talking people enjoy an easy pace. Nice little rhyme there. Quiet people like quiet. Loud people like volume. If you fail to blend with other people's voice, volume, and speed, you'll probably end up talking to yourself or dealing with serious misunderstanding. That could explain some things that I deal with on a regular basis when trying to communicate with people. My family is very loud. In fact, they call them the loud family. When I was married to my first husband, we were known as the loud family because everybody in my family would shout to be heard. And especially at family gatherings, even now, you can hear a lot of shouting. On some of the Christmas videos I posted, just listen. You'll hear my daughter's mouths. You'll hear everybody's mouth from the main family. There were other people there that are not direct family members. You'll hear them, but you won't hear them probably over my children and my family. They're very vocally loud. That's because my ex-husband is very loud, and the kids picked that up as they were growing up. I would have to tell them, "Quiet, I'm right in the room with you. You don't have to shout. I'm not over there. I'm right here," Sometimes Matthew will say, "Honey, I'm sitting right next to you. You don't need to shout." I picked some of that up as well. Okay. A mother and teenage daughter sought counseling in a last-ditch attempt to resolve seemingly irreconcilable differences. We observed that when the mother was angry with her daughter, her communications would speed up. However, her communications also sped up for other reasons besides anger. But no matter what the reason for the mother's acceleration of speech, the daughter withdrew from it. She stopped listening to whatever her mother said, not because of what she said, but because of how she said it. The mother found this to be incredibly frustrating, and she inevitably lost her temper. The daughter withdrew further. Through time, they grew so far apart that they had to shout at each other. Unfortunately, this pattern is typical of many parent-child relationships. It's not that there isn't enough love. The problem is there's not enough blending. We pointed this out to the mother and daughter, and we helped them to become aware of their communication differences. They both changed their behavior. Once the mother realized that she wanted her daughter's attention while speaking to her, she began to purposely slow her communication down, blending with what worked for her daughter. The daughter was equally eager to have good communication with her instead of the constant sound of harassment. So she began making the effort to pay attention to what her mom had to say, independent of the speed, knowing that it just didn't just mean anger. Using their love for each other to keep them on track, they both did their part to improve their communication. Here, as is often the case, it was the process rather than the content of communication that was causing the difficulty. Good morning, Mask Spoofer. How are you? That is the end of chapter 4. We learned about blending. We learned the importance of blending and why sometimes we don't get along very well with people on here because we can't see them to blend with them fully. Okay. Anywho. So does anybody have any input, comments, things you want to share? Maybe talk about ways that you feel you have blended, or maybe ways that you think you can blend better with people. Anything like that at all. I want to remind you as well, there are other chapters of this book. Of course, we're on chapter 5 now, which, by the way, will be called Listen to Understand. And it's got this cute little picture of two people talking to each other, maybe husband, wife, maybe friends, I don't know. But we're going to be talking about listening to understand. I'm wondering if I should maybe just read that as well, because it's a super short chapter. Although, honestly, these chapters are all very short for the next couple times. Let's see. I could technically do 2 chapters today, and then I could do another 2 chapters and then 1, because these next ones are super short. So I think I'll do that. All right, how long have I been on? 22 minutes? Yeah, I think we could get in this next chapter. So it's called Listen to Understand. Oh, I had a crazy night of sleep last night, Spoofer. I really did. I went to bed, I would say, maybe about 5 or 6 o'clock. Woke up at 8, went back to sleep, woke up at 11. Good morning, Marley. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the book. I'm enjoying that you commented. I like to know who's here with me. I like to hear your comments or see your comments. But yeah, so then I woke up again at around 6 o'clock this morning. So it was like a choppy night of sleep. But honestly, I was that tired to go to bed at around 5 last night. I was exhausted. I haven't been eating right at all, and it's been affecting me. It's definitely been affecting my health, and it's affecting my sleep pattern. So today is the day to get back on the track. I have definite things that I've decided to do. I will show you. I'll take a little interlude here. I'll walk over and show you what I did recently. You know me and my charts. I share. For breakfast, we have a wrap with veggies, deli, or other meat, tomato, lettuce, and mayo, or peanut butter and jelly wrap, or sometimes a smoothie, which I haven't written that in. And then for options for like if we're still hungry after this big lunch that we're having, which is kind of like a lunch dinner combination, we have tomato and cucumber salad with burgers and hot dogs, tossed salad with deli or canned meat like tuna or chicken, bell pepper stuff with tuna or chicken salad or cream cheese, or maybe both, sweet potato, air fries. Not all together. This or this or this or this. Those are our options if we're still hungry after one of these days. So stir fry Sunday, obviously stir fry. Meaty Monday will be chicken, turkey, or tuna. Taco Tuesday will be ground turkey with tomato, lettuce, cheese, taco seasoning, taco sauce, probably sour cream. Wacky Wednesday is whatever we want within reason, not huge amounts of carbs and calories. Thirsty Thursday will be a smoothie for our main meal, so it'll be a really filling smoothie. Fishy Friday, obviously fish and fries in the air fryer. And Soupy Saturday will be soup. So we got it all settled on what we're eating. Also on my phone, I have an actual timer for not only eating, but also tidying the house. I've been watching, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Clutterbug. I'll try to plug her somewhere on the screen. After I do this, I'll plug Clutterbug for you. She is an organizer and she's fantastic and she makes it fun. And oh, thank you. Thanks for saying it's a cute chart. I had fun making it and thinking it up. She talks about decluttering your home and how to organize things and make sure everything has a place to go. And you guys know I've been kind of doing that already. I've been organizing things like here. I don't know if I've ever shown this, but I'll show it again. I need to bring the other one in because there's no drawer in the bottom part of this. But these two drawers, these are fasteners. That means tape, staples, anything you fasten things with. And also my permanent markers are in this drawer. This drawer down here, if you can see that, that's all of my nail polish, lipstick and such. And my container just spilled on the floor. This is my pen container for extra pens. Who doesn't need extra pens and markers and stuff? I have tons of them. I collect pens. If you want to know what my collection is, I collect different types of pens. I love pens. I don't know why. I'm weird like that. Okay. Markers included, as I need them because I love to do artwork and stuff. Oh, hey, Wheezy. Good to see everybody. Everybody must be starting to wake up now, huh? Anyway, on my phone, I have a little clock timer type thing. I'm sure a lot of you know about this. It's just a simple clock. I have my Big Holla timer set for Friday. I also have my eating schedule set up. I'll wake up and feed the fur babies at 7. 7:30 is Bible and prayer. Head to bus by 8:45. Make and eat a wrap or smoothie at 8:55. So basically when I start getting closer to where my workplace is and I hop off the bus, then I can start munching on my wrap. That way I'm eating a little bit later breakfast because I'm trying to do intermittent fasting. So I don't want to eat as soon as I get up. I want to eat a little bit later. And then at 1:10, I'm going to step aside, probably head to the restroom or something and grab a quick snack, like stuff a granola bar in my mouth or something. I don't know. That way I'm still keeping my blood sugar level, normal, and I'm not starving myself and then gorging myself when it comes time to eat later. Then at 3:55, I will make that big lunch dinner thing I just told you about. Hang on a second. At 5 o'clock, we will have dessert or one of those things that I just showed you, or maybe both. So I've got everything set up on a schedule. I think that works best for me. And when I try to live without a schedule, I just feel frazzled. I think it's because I'm so ADD that my brain just wants to go every direction. And this kind of zeroes it in on a strategic plan, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to read chapter 5 to you. It's super short, but it'll start us on the plan of actually interacting with people in a healthier way. People that you can't stand. So listen to understand. People want to be heard and understood. When people express themselves verbally, they want feedback that they've been heard, and they also want to be understood. This is true even when they don't understand themselves, as is the case when people who are upset try to describe their feelings and thoughts. But when two or more people want to be heard and understood at the same time, and no one is willing to listen and understand, an argument or exit is almost inevitable. For this reason, masterful communicators make it their goal to listen and understand first before attempting to be heard and understood. I see this problem online all the time, especially on panels where there's a point trying to be made, or somebody's asking a question, or somebody wants to be heard, and everybody just starts shouting over each other. I can't interact in those kind of situations. I'm the one that exits, or I just shut down. Like, I'll just stop talking and just listen, because I'm not going to shout over you. And it's very uncomfortable for me to be on panels like that. A lot of people it's uncomfortable for, but then there's some people in the drama community, I guess they thrive on that stuff. They like to yell over other people and cuss people out and scream their points, But most of the people I know and interact with in my real life would not tolerate that. They'd be like, why do you even go in those rooms? I would not even go up on that panel. They don't let anybody be heard. And everybody wants to be heard. Everybody should, back in kindergarten, nursery school days, we learned, okay, Johnny, it's your turn now. Mary, you need to be quiet. Well, Johnny talks and does his show and tell. I mean, it's like, are we really progressed that far in age and maturity? And yet we still cannot take turns. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to a lot of people. Here's the bad news. Our strategy for listening requires you to temporarily set aside your own need to be heard and understood at a time when you least want to. Now, the good news. By helping your problem people express themselves completely, you increase the likelihood of their being able and even willing to hear you in turn. In fact, there can be no doubt that when people have the experience that they've been listened to and understood, they let go of their preoccupation with their own thoughts and feelings. The door to their mind swings open, and that makes it much easier for them to hear you. Again, this applies to people that don't have personality disorders. If you are dealing with somebody with an extreme personality disorder, it doesn't matter how you stop talking and listen to them. They are going to want to be heard first. They're going to want to only be heard, and they're not going to care about what you think or say or want to be heard about. So, yeah. There's always exceptions to every rule, as they say. Understanding occurs on two levels emotionally. People feel that you understand what they are feeling, and intellectually, people believe that you understand what they're saying. When people become difficult people, for example, their positive intentions are threatened or thwarted, listening to understand their feelings and thoughts is a useful objective. A simple yet effective strategy for accomplishing this requires that you listen actively rather than passively. If you make a habit of listening in the manner we're about to describe, you will actually prevent some people from ever becoming the people you can't stand. Oh, I don't know what that's about. Hold on a minute. I will be right back. Hello? Hello? Three 363 000. Hang on, guys. All right. Had to take that call right quick. Yeah, I have ADD too, Marley. I get it. Okay. Perfect. Well, actually, that worked perfect timing-wise because now I finished that paragraph, thankfully. All right, step 1, blend. Now they're going through the steps on how to do this. Yes, George called her Wheezy. Her name was Louise on there, and he called her Wheezy. Yep. It reminds me of that too, actually. How do people know that you're listening and understanding? In essence, it's through the way you look and sound while they're talking. While they vent their emotions, blow off steam, whine, complain, unload their problems, talk about things that are irrelevant or misleading, and provide you with detailed information that you have no known use for, your task is to give visual and auditory evidence that what they're saying makes sense to you, even when it doesn't. That's blending. Rather than distracting your difficult people with puzzled looks, interruptions, or statements of disagreement, we suggest that you help them to completely express themselves. Simply put, you do this by nodding your head in agreement while making occasional and appropriate sounds of understanding like, uh-huh, oh, and and then repeating back what they've said so they know they've been heard. Everything about you, from your body posture to your voice volume, must give the impression that you hear and understand. At some point, you will need to become more actively involved. You'll know for certain that you have reached that point when your problem people begin to repeat what's already been said. When this occurs, consider it a signal that the people need some feedback from you. Okay. Had to delete or hide a little comment there. Pop-up thing. Yep, she was a Louise. That is true. Okay, backtrack. One form of giving feedback is backtracking, or repeating back some of the actual words that other people are using. I call it reflective listening, and most psychology groups call it that too. This sends a clear signal that you're listening and that you consider what the other people are saying to be important. Backtracking is not the same as translating or rephrasing. Words are symbols for experience, and the word symbols that people choose to express their experience have unique meanings to them. Changing their words into your words with well-intended statements like "in other words" or "so what you're really trying to say is" may prolong the communication process with difficult people. They might hear these different symbols as evidence that you don't understand. Yeah, you don't want to say that. I've tried that with my husband. That does not work. When you say, "Oh, what I hear you saying is, well, thanks for telling me what I'm thinking," it doesn't work well. Nor does backtracking require you to become a parrot and repeat everything back to your problem people. How much backtracking you do is relative to the situation you're in. When dealing with an attacking tank, a minimal amount of backtracking is required because the tank has a 2-sentence attention span. When dealing with a know-it-all, copious backtracking is required, or you'll have to hear the lecture again. With wishy-washy yes and maybe people, it becomes more important to backtrack their feeling statements. You'll find yourself using a version of this skill with all of the 10 plus 3 people you can't stand. Backtracking is particularly important when dealing with problem people over the phone, because the only visual information they have about you is what they extrapolate from the sound of your voice and the words that you use. You struggle with a good friend. She's difficult. You get so frustrated trying to talk to her, try to avoid. Yeah, I get it. I understand. There are people, there was a recent situation that I ran into somebody that I had known a long time ago, and this person is mentally slower, than she should be for her age, because she used to be burned with cigarettes on her skin as a child. And I knew her adoptive mom personally, in a ministry sense. And I saw her the other day, and it's been years and years. And I happened to be telling her about going to church and whatever. "Oh, do you think you can maybe take me with you?" Now I'm not driving. It would be me getting a ride to church from somebody else. And I said, "Well, I don't know. I'll look into it, whatever." And I secretly was hoping she forgot all about it. She was going to give me her phone number. Thankfully, she did not give me her phone number. She forgot about it. The reason I say that is because, number one, that would cause me to have to try to impose on somebody else to take her also. And it's been really hard to get a ride to church. It's almost like people do it, but they're super reluctant. They don't want to be put out or go out of their way to do it. So then for me to say, "Oh, yeah, and I have this other person, and she lives out over here, totally in the opposite direction." Do you think you could pick her up too? It's not a good situation. So I was glad when she forgot about my phone number or her phone number, and I didn't remind her. The thing that makes her difficult is that because of the abuse she suffered and the mental, delays and such, she doesn't understand a lot of things like taking no for an answer. So it's better that she forgot on her own about the phone number rather than me having to try to explain to her, I'm having a hard enough time trying to get a ride. I don't really want to impose on the people. Who's going to say that to somebody that is mentally delayed? Nobody. You're not going to want to get into that kind of conversation with somebody. It's extremely uncomfortable. So it was better, like I said, that she just forgot on her own and I didn't bring it up again. But now every time I get on the bus and I see her, hey, did you find out about a ride to church? And it's like, yeah, no, not really. I mean, I go once in a while, which is true. I don't go every week now because I have to rely on a ride. And like I said, it's uncomfortable. But it's an awkward situation. It really is. And if you've never dealt with somebody that had like mental and learning delays, you don't understand what I'm talking about. But it's not like dealing with your everyday person that doesn't have those problems. So, yeah, and my personality, those of you that know me, it makes me uncomfortable. I really like to be left alone to do my thing. I don't like having to bring a lot of people around me that I have to explain to other people. It's just hard for me. That's why I don't work in one of those types of facilities too, because it's uncomfortable and I don't know how to deal with it. In real life situations, I mean, like if you're in a situation where you work for like a mental health place or some type of a home for developmentally delayed people, that's different. They're all like that. And everybody understands that there's a certain way you interact. But when they come into society and you're trying to get along with them and integrate them into your life or into whatever you're doing, they can be very imposing without meaning to be because they don't understand. So it's just, like I said, an awkward situation. That would be not a person I can't stand, but definitely a challenging person to deal with. And that is the most challenging person I deal with right now, other than maybe some of the people I work around, possibly. Okay, so anyway, let me see where I left off. I totally lost my place here. Yeah. Okay. Step 3, clarify. Having heard what they have to say, begin to gather information about the meaning of their communication. It's all right to look confused at this point as you become genuinely curious and ask some questions. Clarification questions are open-ended questions that are far more than a grunt in response. They begin with words like what, who, where, when, and how. Whom are you talking about? What are you referring to? Where did this happen? When did it happen? How did it happen? After gathering this information, you may begin to explore why they're saying it and what criteria they're hoping to satisfy by their behavior. It is essential that you develop your ability to switch into an information gathering mode rather than a reactionary one. When you deal with difficult people, being able to ask the right questions may turn out to be worth far more than having all the right answers. All of us are smarter than any of us is a useful principle. The people asking the questions stand to gain the most by putting this greater intelligence to work. When dealing with people who are upset, however, putting the greater intelligence to work isn't always possible. Emotions so cloud the reasoning capabilities of people that it seems that as if their brains are no longer connected to their mouths. How many times can you recall when you were upset and said something you didn't actually mean? And while it's virtually impossible to reason with emotional people, it is possible to look and sound like you understand, backtrack what you've heard, and then become curious enough to ask questions. We're almost done, y'all. Hang with me here. Benefits of asking clarification questions. You can gather higher quality information than what's offered. Questions allow both of you to clarify the details and understand the specifics of a problem rather than coping with and reacting to vague generalizations. Now, I want to say one thing here about questions. They're right about questions being a clarifying way of understanding what people are saying and creating a dialogue between you that's more comfortable, so you show that you understand, or you learn to understand what the other person means. But when you ask a question to somebody that is a narcissist, or somebody that has a extreme behavioral or personality disorder, it can make them feel like you're stupid, and they look at you like, well, you're dumb. Why are you asking me that? I just told you. Why are you asking me? Why don't you understand anything? Or if they ask you a question, well, why did you do this? Why did you say this? It's not because they really want to know. It's because they want to attack you. So it depends on what you're dealing with. This is not a one size fits all by any means. Just remember that this is dealing with people that do not have disorders, do not passively aggressively want to deal with you, but people that really genuinely want to hear what you have to say, and you want to hear what they have to say. You can help the other people become more rational in the process. Asking the right questions helps people who are upset to fill in the blanks in their thinking until they become reasonable again. You can patiently and supportively demonstrate that you care about what they're saying. In this way, problem people are more likely to become calm and cooperative people. Asking questions can slow a situation down long enough to see where it's heading. This allows you to take corrective action sooner instead of later. And you can surface hidden agendas and reveal lies without being adversarial. That's what Peter Falk's detective character did in the hit TV show Columbo. That's an actual good show. I used to watch Columbo quite a bit. He did try to find out the agendas behind what people were saying by asking questions. That's true. Lie to Me is another really good show that I enjoy a lot, because the way that he interprets what people's body language says and how they say things. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. As a general principle, it's probably better to do more clarifying than less, even when you think you do understand what people are saying. All too often, people think they understand what other people are saying, when in fact they do not. Also, asking a specific question doesn't mean you automatically get a specific answer. Both the whiner and the no person tend to speak in sweeping generalizations. Step 4, summarize what you've heard. To make certain that both you and your problem people have the experience that you really do understand, summarize back to them what you've heard. So that if I understand you correctly, this is the problem, this is who it involved, and this is what happened, where it happened, and how it happened. When you do this, at least 2 things happen. 1, if you've missed something, they can fill in the details. And 2, you've demonstrated yet again that you're making a serious effort to fully understand. This increases the likelihood of gaining their cooperation and changing direction down the line. Step 5, confirm. Having listened carefully, you've now arrived at a crucial juncture. Rather than assuming anything, be certain that the difficult people are satisfied that the problem has been fully voiced. Ask, do you feel understood? Is there anything else? When enough sincere questioning, listening, caring, and remembering are brought together, understanding is achieved, and difficult people become less difficult and more cooperative. So here's your quick summary. When your problem person is talking, your goal is to listen to understand. 1, blend visibly and audibly. 2, backtrack some of the person's own words. 3, clarify the meaning, intent, and criteria. 4, summarize what you've heard. And 5, confirm to find out if you got it right. And that is the end of chapter 5. We're going to stop there on the chapters because, yeah, it's a lot to digest. But here are the, I don't know if that's backwards, but that's the quick summary that I just read. All right. So we're moving right along. We already finished this much of the book right here. Doing good. So we did 4 and 5. I'll have to change that title when I go back to edit. But usually I don't edit much out of these types of videos at all. Pretty much nothing I edit out of the videos. But as I said, the hardest thing I think is trying to interact on a computer screen, because you're missing a lot of the nonverbal. You can't see the person, etc. It's difficult. And if you've had a run-in with somebody and you are now considering them somebody that you don't hang with or whatever, then any further interactions with them in any way, shape, or form is going to be seen as adversarial. Unfortunately, that's just how it is on here, and sometimes in life, in real life as well. So, thank you. I thought it was pretty informative myself. I didn't write the book, but just sharing it. So, I'm going to go back and read some of the comments just in case I missed anything. There weren't that many comments, but I'm talking about the name Wheezy, I think. Yeah, I used to watch the Jeffersons. I love that show. I loved all those shows back in that era. Mama's Family. What were some of the other ones? One Day at a Time, Empty Nest. Many of those shows, I can watch them on other types of TV, whatever you call them, platforms or whatever. Sometimes Matthew will get those. Is there any takeaways, input, anything you want to share? Anything that resonated with you? All in the Family, yes. Yes, Archie Bunker. That would never fly nowadays with all the politically correct and anti-racial whatever. People are very touchy about how you say things, who you say it to, and yeah. Yes, I remember when Betty White was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show for sure. Yep, she was on Mama's Family. She was on Mary Tyler Moore. Was she in what's it called? Golden Girls, maybe? I think she might have been in Golden Girls. I don't know. She was in lots of things. She's a phenomenal actress. Sue Ann, yeah. Sue Ann Nivens, yes, definitely. And Marley, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but there is an actress on many shows. I'm going to see if I can find her name. It is my foster mom's cousin, actually. You'll know who it is when I tell you. Wendy Malick. Here, see if I can get a picture of her so you can see her easier. This is her. That's my foster mom's cousin, Wendy Malick. She's on Just Shoot Me. She's on Hot in Cleveland. She always plays the snobbish person. She's actually a Christian in real life, and she's super nice. I've never met her, but yeah. Yes. So yeah, I would love to meet her or interview her sometime and find out what really goes on in Hollywood, if she would even tell me. She probably couldn't. Yeah, it is pretty cool when you know somebody that's a celebrity, because in society, celebrity is everything. We look at those people and think, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could be a star or whatever. I used to wish I could be a star till I found out what goes on in Hollywood, and now I want nothing to do with any of that. But I do want to go back into doing musicals again. I would absolutely love to be in a musical. That would be a blast for me to be in a musical. The closest thing I came to that was being Ann Gilbert in Cheaper by the Dozen at our little theater group in Gowanda, New York, years ago. When I was married to my first husband, I was in that. I played one of the lead roles. I played the rebellious daughter role, and it was a lot of fun, and I did it really well, I think. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. So, yeah. Anywho, that's it from the Peanut Gallery over here. From me, moi, yours truly. I hope you enjoyed that reading, and maybe it gave you some insight into how to interact with your problem person a little bit easier by just listening, asking some questions, mirroring, that sort of thing. Yeah, I know, Marley. Well, and there's a reason they fail you. I mean, the stuff that goes on in Hollywood is just unspeakable, some of it. And what they do to become stars, many of them, is just also unspeakable, just evil and icky and stuff like that. Not all of them, but yeah, a lot of them. It seems to me pretty inescapable if you're wanting to be a really big star, that you don't have to, as they say, sell your soul in a sense. And I would never do that. That's not me. My relationship with God, Yahweh, Creator, is way more important to me than any notoriety, any fame, any accolades, or whatever that Hollywood or people in general could offer me. So I would not, I wouldn't fit in there at all. I would immediately walk out the door as soon as they had me posing in some way that was uncomfortable or inappropriate based on what I believe. So I probably wouldn't get my foot in the door with any producer, actually, as far as I know, unless they were a Christian producer, which I don't know how many of those there are in Hollywood, honestly. It's just not my thing. So, anyhow, all right. I'll wait for a minute, see if anybody else wants to chat about anything or give any input, takeaways, insights, whatever. Yeah, definitely. So now we're changing what the next chapter will be. It's called Reach a Deeper Understanding. That's going to be chapter 6. I will not do that now. It looks like she's looking inside of his head, I guess, with a flashlight. Something like that. She cranked open his head and she's looking inside with a flashlight. I think so many of us have wanted to be able to do that with people. Like, what goes on up there? What really is happening inside that noggin of yours? Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We don't have unzippable heads. It'd be interesting if we did, though, what we would see, That probably would make a lot of us go, oh, okay, that's why. All right. But then me being a fixer, I would want to be able to tinker around and make things normal or neurotypical or whatever so that I could get along better with the person. I'm just being honest. I would. You can't just unzip it and leave me having to put up with that. That's the way I see it. So I think a lot of people would feel the same. So today's agenda, I'm going to start on my 30-day organization thing from the Clutterbug lady. And I'm trying to think, what was that? I wrote it down here in my journal. So each day you do something a little different. You set the timer for 15 minutes and you do whatever's on the list. This is my other list. I told you I have lists, charts. I love it. I'm very much a chart maker. So this is the 30-day declutter program. And today's day will be cleaning out under the kitchen sink, which I am not looking forward to. I'm also going to take 15 minutes and just tidy the house. She says to do that every day at the same time. 15 minutes, you can tidy anything and just make things a little bit neater. And then when you keep doing that for like day after day, eventually everything is orderly and organized and in its place. So, yeah. But you just do a little bit at a time. That way it's not overwhelming, like, oh, I got to clean the whole house. No, you just do one part a day. You do a 15-minute tidy, and then you do a 15-minute focus on a certain part of the room. So hopefully eventually my house will start feeling like a home again a little bit more. It's starting to. It's a lot less cluttered than it was. It's nice to be able to have a kitchen that I can just walk across the floor. Now, those are cat bowls because I fed them this morning, but those will be picked up. And then I'll be able to just walk straight into my kitchen. And in my hall, I'll just pick a few things up off the floor. It's not as bad as it was with all the carpeting everywhere and clutter and whatever. So I'm learning. I'm a slow learner, but I am learning. So yeah, now that I own the house, I guess I can do pretty much anything I want at this point. And I don't know exactly what that is. I do have to continue making payments on the payments that my daughter covered. Yes, tiny home living, exactly. And my house isn't even considered a tiny home. I think it's bigger than most tiny homes. It's 523 square feet. It's tiny, it's little, but it's not the tiniest tiny home. The problem is I don't have organized spaces for everything, and I have too much stuff. And that's what she says. As hard as it is, you need to start carting the stuff out. And I have been doing that. And that has helped a lot. Like with my kitchen, having so many cups, bowls, plates, glasses, I had to get rid of them. So we only use like 2 coffee cups, 2 glasses to drink out of, and then our little glasses for Shabbat, and then smaller plates that we eat on, and a couple mixing bowls and some pans. I mean, we don't have the overwhelming amount of everything that we used to have. If there was any extra cups and I didn't get them right out to the shed, then I put them up in a cupboard that I know I don't really go in, because I won't climb. I'm lazy. I don't want to climb any more than I have to. So just been kind of putting everything gradually into a designated space, and that's helped a lot. At some point, I get to clean out the pantry cupboard, the closet over there. Not looking forward to that, but when that's done, I'm going to be so happy, because there's so many things I can do with that space, and I haven't done it. And it's just about using spaces for specific things instead of just cluttering them full of junk. And like this lady, Clutterbug, takes drawers, and like she'll have a light bulb drawer. So when that drawer is full of light bulbs, she doesn't buy any more light bulbs. She just uses the ones that are in the drawer. So that's another thing, is those of us that are cluttery, like I'm definitely cluttery. I'm not a hoarder because I can throw things out easily. But I am a clutterbug. And those of us that do that, we tend to keep buying more things without realizing we already have enough. Matthew's more like that than I am, where he just wants to keep buying extra. Like, we'll have food, but he wants to go buy a pizza. And it's like, honey, we have food. Why are we buying extra, stuff? We don't need to do that. So it's a matter of realizing that if you have enough, you have enough. You don't have to bring more in to have to deal with. So yeah, I'm learning that. I've been better about it, but it's a learning process. Processes take time. And when you work, you have a little bit of a limited time span. I don't work a lot, so I have plenty of time in between to get things in order. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Before summer hits, I'm hoping to be well on my way to my weight loss goal. I feel like it's just been plateaued, stagnant, and not going anywhere lately. So, oh yeah, I know, Marley. I don't want a stockpile of supplies. I want to eliminate the supplies. I think that's why I'm sticking with, as a hobby, pretty much painting and puzzles right now. I don't want to get into a whole lot of creativity and have stuff everywhere, all over the place. So, and of course, there's my vision board over there on the wall, right there. That's all of the words that I want to encompass my life: breathing, happy, blessings, friends, connecting. Oh, hold on. Purpose, organization, observing. And then there's that little bathroom picture that's talking about, that's the one room I want to redo when I have the money to do it. I want to get the plumbing fixed in the bathroom and maybe get our tub redone or something whenever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Emergency situations. Yes. We do have several first aid kits as far as emergency situations, but I get what you mean, like canned goods and such, right? That kind of thing, cleaning supplies. Yeah, we have all that. I have a lot of it in the pantry that I really would like to cart out to the shed. Matthew felt like things would freeze in the shed, which right now they probably would. I don't want frozen canned vegetables because that's just kind of gross. It's not warm in my shed enough to have cans of liquid, so I just have a few in the pantry, but yeah, I don't have the room for that either, unless like maybe I took a wall and just stocked things up on a shelf against a wall. Canned beans or whatever. I don't know. I don't like having a lot of extra stuff. And the thing is, I know, yes, with COVID and with natural disasters and whatever, we need to stock up because we need to have emergency supplies if something happens, we can't get to the store. And me, who can't even drive my vehicles right now, probably should look into having extra stuff stocked. It's just that it feels overwhelming to me. So I only have so much extra, but I do have a little bit of extra cans and stuff. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Well, but why did you bother the little man? He's just trying to look out the window. You don't have to be doing that kind of stuff to him. Anyway, my kitties are acting up. So, yeah, so that's that. I did get the alarm to go and eat, so I am going to go and make my wrap now and start my day. I have very much enjoyed our hour and 5 minutes together. Looking forward to our next time together when we read the next chapter, chapter 6. I'm going to go in and edit this video so it says chapters 4 and 5, so people will know that it's 2 chapters. And you guys have a wonderful day. Hit the subscribe if you haven't. Join my channel, join our family, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great one. Be blessed. Shalom.